tourism and transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, a terrific Tuesdays edition, and the fact that we get a chance to speak to Miss Teen. I feel honored. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you so much. And if you're not yet tuned into our YouTube channel, well, go right ahead, because the camera's going to be on Rena and Miss Teen, Miss Jada Borden. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you today?
Good afternoon. I'm good. How are you?
Wow. Well, I am, must say, feeling great. If you don't mind, to be in your presence, to be encouraged by the youth who are today and the great promise of tomorrow. So thank you so much for not just coming in with us, but maybe through you, inspiring a nation, especially young people, to excellence. It is
Thank
amazing.
you. It's a pleasure to be in your presence.
Oh, see that boy? And Ebanks and Borden, there's the Cayman Islands Foundation. If I might know, what is it like? But first off, before I got with questions, because I always thought, wonder what I look like in the crown,
You can try it on after if you want.
Would
Mr. Juan said.
You would let me do that? Oh,
I would.
Wow.
If she lets me.
If she lets you. No, Miss John might not approve that. And then Miss Norma might have an issue, and then my head probably not, small enough to fit in such a crown. For you, as we start, what would you, at the outset, like to say to those who are listening? I mean, I was thinking about all the interviews and the discussions that I had had, speaking to young people like you guys who are always front and center from such an early age, and to have that courage to not only go on stage, but to be such a national figure. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And going into the Miss Teen pageant, it was kind of a spur of the moment. Like, it was last minute. I signed up. Like, I was the last one to sign up, I believe. And it truly has been a journey. I don't know if you know, but I was awarded the second runner-up position first, and then 5 months later, it was bumped up to first runner-up. And then due to COVID in 2020, the Miss Teen pageant was unable to occur. So then I took the title of Miss Teen Cayman Islands.
See that?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm very thankful, very blessed. I was given this opportunity to be a role model.
And that's the thing, we don't always know how our lives will twist and turn. Sometimes, we see immediately, oh, that's not good. But therein, lies the blessing. And what always reminds us, not every disappointment is a misfortune, but at a difficult time. But here you are, through persistence and perseverance, and stepping up to each sort of challenge on the rung. And last year, I joke and say it was a long century, but it was different, right?
Yeah.
We find ways to cope. What has it been like, especially, as you shared second, first and then in pole position? You wear the crown with such grace and elegance.
Thank you. It was shocking when I got the call. They were like, Jada, we would love for you to be the next Miss Teen. I was like, is this a joke or something? I was so shocked. But as I said before, I was so blessed. And the last time I came here, I said the best part of my reign thus far would have to be the speech I delivered at John Gray. Just because the message I had, it was about bullying and being a role model and being a leader. But as I'm getting closer to the end of my reign and I have a more overall perspective now, I would definitely say the best part of my reign would have to be all of it. Of course, there were like some hard times because you have like 2 to 3 events a day sometimes, last minute events, you have deadlines, and at the very beginning of my reign, I doubted myself a lot.
Wow.
I asked myself, am I capable of being this role model to the younger generation? Thank you. It was a lot because it was a lot on my plate. Being Miss Teen is not just, oh, she wears a crown, she goes to events. There's a lot behind it. And
as I listen to you, right, the idea that for some of us, you know, we keep hearing, oh, was it dress doesn't make the man, but dress for success, and all sorts of confusing, conflicting. Sometimes, you know, but to me, it's the metal in the person. It's the substance, not just the style. But you bring it all to the fore. And so I can imagine as you walk through getting ready to make a presentation to fellow students or even in front of professionals, you are immediately, not unlike the Her Majesty the Queen, she's presenting in a garb, but then you also need to share something as well. You held the pressure with such grace and elegance as I shared.
Yeah.
What is it like in particular last year? Was there any, not just the challenges, any turning points, anything, like I said, almost a seminal moment, but that thing that made, aha, this is me, this is what I want. Did last year in particular, or even now?
Yeah, COVID brought a lot of negative aspects to people, but it brought so many blessings to me. Of course, the biggest one was the Miss Teen title, because ever since I was crowned, nothing but positivity has come into my life, and being crowned has just taught me that I can do anything. Anything is possible with the right passion, the right dedication, the right love for something, the right drive. And I just encourage anyone, like, if you want to do something and you're just doubting yourself, oh, I can't do this, go head first. When you go head first, you have no other choice but to live up to those expectations and to unveil your true potential. So the Miss Teen pageant has definitely been the best decision I've ever decided to do in my life, because I've now discovered who I truly am, what I'm capable of, and anything is possible. Right.
Well, as we go into the break and we come back, we'll talk, but I'm thinking as you share immediately, what is it we're told by the Chinese proverb, the longest journey starts with a single step.
Yes.
There are many who quickly subscribe to the scripture, talk about, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Wherever you draw your strength, that faith, that belief, that as you share, that positivity can bring so much productive outcomes if you just willing, as you said, step out on faith, step out with a drive and a determination, a motivation, and a desire to not just succeed but to inspire. All right, so when we come back to the break, you want to share more with us, if you're willing?
Of course.
It's Jada Button, the reigning Miss Teen Cayman Islands, and this is why the days make us so encouraged, because we have great young people like this who are the promise of the future, and they certainly show the potential of today. Let's pause and take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
Optical Outlook Caymanian Village location has moved. Same great services and products, new location. We've moved to Anderson Square in central Georgetown. It's a much larger space with dedicated parking. Please call us on 746-2020 to make your appointment at our new location today. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please come see the difference with Optical Outlook, Cayman's premier optical provider.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a non-for-profit member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. Chamber Pension has an all-in expense ratio of 0.72% over 16,000 members, $430 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s. And today, we are still strong, secure, and are here for employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And if I may say, as we speak to the reigning Miss Teen, Cayman Islands, Miss Jada Borden, to the wonderful parents and those who nurture our young people, to the wider community who are always so supportive and encouraging, and to us, as a civil society that understands the importance of working collectively together, that sense of unification. Miss Jada, when I look at, if you would say, today and people like you with what lies ahead, what is to come now, the future for education and career, the future to continue to serve within our community through volunteering or participation in, whatever maybe your professional sort of choosing, as it were. But the joy that today that, we've got these people like you who are wonderful role models and excellent examples. It's just encouraging. So thanks.
Thank you.
As we were going into the break and you were sharing with us, more about the year and what maybe from which you draw your strength, what's your wellspring, your purpose, maybe who knows, what you plan, if you want to share.
Yes, I would love to share actually, because being Crown Miss Teen actually, made me realize what my true purpose is and what God has aligned for me. And recently I've gotten baptized. Yeah, and I wanted to get baptized from last year. During COVID, my spirituality with God and my relationship with Him increased. And I wanted to do it from last year, but I took the final step a few months ago. And it has really helped me throughout hard times to know that, someone's always there for me. Someone's always there to encourage me. Someone's always there to listen to me.
Mm-hmm. Hey, thank you for that, because... And I don't say this to inflame anybody else. People can draw what they want, but in the world in which we find ourselves, so much discord and division, even in our discussion, it sometimes can devolve into this vitriolic prose that people don't even intend to, the strained relations between, families and the like. But you draw on your spirituality. And to have you say so publicly like that with such a purpose, hopefully other people will start to appreciate that positivity, would be the way, through prayer, repetition, spirituality, meditation, they can find strength.
Nothing to be ashamed of. You should, express how much you love God. Okay. Something to be proud of.
Well, I thank you for that courage. It should not be, as you said, something to be apologized for, but by the same token, We see the world as inflamed and upside down place at times.
Mm-hmm.
What would you want to do if you could do? What would you see yourself doing and wanting 10 or 20 years from now? But not like that, tomorrow, this afternoon.
Well, on September 9th, I'm actually traveling abroad to the UK for university. I'm going to study acting, and from then on, I hope to be successful in the next year, where I can give back, where I'm in a position to give back to my family, give back to my community, and then eventually the world. Since I was a little girl, I always had a dream that I wanted to start a nonprofit. It's going to be called Never Silenced. And I want to donate, maybe educational buildings, school supplies, homes, even food to, unfortunate people who don't have the privilege of what we have today and what we overlook. We're just like, oh, we have it. It's not a big deal, but it's such a big deal to other people around the world. Yeah. So hopefully in the next 10 years, I'll have a successful nonprofit and I have helped my family and lived up to my true potential.
You will, man. Amen to that. And if my memory allows me, my physical ability, is there, call on me. Because when we work hand in glove, when we work together, we can achieve not just for ourselves and for smaller community, but the global community. Never silenced. Only if you wish. Sometimes our dreams, we don't like to share them too much too soon, but if you wish, why that need? What was the impetus for that? And I see the education, I see the homeless and the housing, I see all the things that are, wow. That is laudable. But never silence.
Yeah. So my whole platform is around being a voice for the younger generation. So that's where I came up with that name, Never Silence. Actually, my sister gave her input, and she came up with Never Silence. It was developed around my whole platform.
And the little I've sort of observed from a distance, that humility that you possess and the way you present that notion of true philanthropic approach. Unlike some of these big fellas that all they do is seem to give a cent and they want all the PR they can get. No heart, no humility, no sense of honor, but yet they seem to buy it. With that, though, I noticed within more and more of our younger people that they have a true calling to serve our communities. And I'm encouraged by that, because as we age and as we develop and progress, maybe we'll have that sense of humanity. So you'll get there, man. You'll get there. I can see the foundation now. Huh? Never silence. Sorry. When speaking to our young people, sometimes, thankfully not as much now as it was some time ago, they feel that they're not being heard. Maybe parents are not listening, understanding. Maybe when things are happening politically, they not have the ease to vote. Go on, talk to me.
Exactly. That's why my platform is about giving them a voice, because they're most of the time they're overlooked because they're not mature enough to put in their input as it pertains to political situations, demographic situations. But I really think they are the future of Cayman and of the world. So why not give them a chance to put in their input?
Yeah. You know what? I've always believed that, we have the voting age at 18. We're graduating. Sometimes we've changed it somewhat. We can drive at 17. If you want to change the voting system, why not make it younger at 16, and maybe to if you can have a bicameral system or some sort of structure where they have multiple houses or district councils or something, that you have an assembly where the young people, those who are, at least from age 16, I would actually even go younger. You want democracy, you have a voice for reason, and you have young people who are being affected. We can give consent for certain things at different ages. We can be held, culpable in criminal cases at an early age, but we can't vote till 18. We can't stand for election until we're 21. Kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, it is.
Some parts of the world you can't, drink and smoke until you're 21, but you can do other things, including, being conscripted to go into the army to fight for a war that you didn't ask for. What would be that change, if you could, that would not only empower and include young people, that would make a difference, though?
I think most of them don't vote when they have the chance to, because there's not enough information that they're provided with as it pertains to knowing the system, knowing about it, knowing the candidates. They're not really educated on that matter. So I believe the improvement of education towards that area would benefit them tremendously.
And maybe some people, parents included, older people may say, well, you're not old enough yet. So as for argument's sake, and it's changed, thankfully. Some politicians, not here only, but maybe globally, may say, well, you can't vote, so why spend very, very valuable time trying to campaign in an area that really has no immediate impact on whether you get an X or not. But that should change, huh?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Now, I struggle to call it social media, but apparently that's what everybody else calls it. I do understand how it's been abused by businesses and others to create they even use the word like narrative, false or otherwise. But it's a powerful thing, and young people, like 15 under, I say young, 16 under, have leveraged that in a way to interact and engage. For my benefit, how important and influential is that environment? Yeah, that thing that exists there.
I would say in today's world, it can be beneficial and negative because, as you said, there's so many narratives as it pertains to what type of body is acceptable, what skin color even.
Wow.
There's a lot of negative people on there, but it can also be used for one's benefit, as in having a voice on there. It's a big platform. Use it to your advantage for positive things, not negative things. And I think most of the people who are negative on there are younger, and they're not properly taught how to be, nicer people, I would say. But social media is a great platform to spread positivity and to motivate others around you.
Can I repeat that back to you, just to make sure, in your view, you just shared that a lot of, or most, but let's say a lot of the negative comments and stuff from the younger people.
Yeah.
Huh. And you...
Yeah, because nowadays, they're like 5-year-olds are on the internet, and they do whatever they want on the internet, and their response to other people, they don't feel, they're not aware, I would say, that the other people will feel bad by their...
But they're 5 and 15, I mean, that's still young.
Yeah, it is young.
I say this, and hopefully it'll cause us as adults to think. And if you're offended, I'm not offering you an apology. I'm asking, not you, Mr. Leader, the adults, those of us who are parents and grandparents, to consider, is this justifiable what I've said? Are you justified in your offense? Those young people, our grandchildren, our children, our nieces and nephews, and younger siblings even, if they're online saying these things unfiltered, being negative, A, are they repeating and learning from us, the adult? B, are we as the adults, teachers, parents, the adults, helping them, being a good nurture, good example, encouraging them? Because if I honestly can't accept or conceive that negativity is in them from birth, that this is just there. This is an expression of their environment. So again, to us as adults, I say this with apology. Maybe we need to check ourselves, because the young people are probably picking up from what we're doing.
In some ways, it could be that way, but I think we just need to provide, proper internet etiquette, proper internet educational classes, so they know what to do on the internet instead of just vandalizing it.
Yeah, thank you. And that's a good thing for us. I mean, someone once said, your children don't embarrass you. They just repeat what you shouldn't have said in the first place. So I'm thinking that in light of maybe what younger people, a 5-year-old, a 15-year-old, or in between, sometimes in their 20s, what they're posting, we haven't developed that etiquette that you referenced, that sense of positive purpose, so that we are thinking and talking and acting, engaging. Be critical. That's fine. Be honest. That's even better. But be responsible. So a 5-year-old doesn't have a whole lot of life experience. We've had experience a lot in life, but surely the 50-year-old hopefully is a little more mature. Hopefully. Not always the case. We know some very mature 5-year-olds, 15-year-olds that could put us all to test. When we come back from the break, the positive person that is you, that incredible smile and intellect that is you, and that purpose and promise and potential that I see that you're poised to present to a populace where people want to see that light. When we come back, will you share with us that encouraging thing? Reflect on not just what year it was like for you as Arena Miss Teen, but maybe where we are as a society, and what are some of the things that we're probably ignoring, potential pitfalls that lie ahead, the promise of great things, and yet the inability sometimes to conceive or to imagine or even to share. Could we delve into that great big brain of yours that I know has so much to offer?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, the Arena Miss Teen, Miss Jada Borden, will give us from her wisdom when we come back. I feel like, the day might not have started out good, but it's getting better because I have a great company of such wonderful people. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Summer, the season for backyard gatherings, beach parties, office socials, and camps for kids. Make the most of your summer party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters or double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go, with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your summer with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you.
For the record.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM for Cayman's Straight Talk Morning Show. For the Record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the Record. Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And I'm very grateful that Miss Jada Borden, the Arena Miss Teen Cayman Islands, would have not only taken time out of her schedule and come not just for the PR, but on a personal level, to be so encouraging. I've drawn much from you. Scriptures talk about the youth being there to impart wisdom and to guide and to lead. And I think in you, we can see a society that's filled with great promise and potential. And I think that's a testament to who we are as a people, where we are in history, and what we are as a society with all the collections. But thank you for shining, man, for wearing that crown with such poise. As we not just wrap up this discussion, but as you sort of come to the, I don't want to say the end of your reign, because it's just beginning.
Yeah.
Transitioning from this chapter to the next, and then soon into a new book. and then it's a volume, and who knows, an encyclopedia. Talk to us. I mean, what is important, and what is that I know is naturally a very positive, disposition that you have?
What's most important to me is that I inspired people and I encouraged them, and most of all, that I made a difference. And I just believe I'm at the tip of this. I'm just at the beginning of making a difference in my community, because eventually I want to spread out to the world, as mentioned previously. So even after my reign is finished, I'm going to continue, bringing positivity and generosity and kindness to those that encompass me, and just to spread that message further.
Yeah, I think you have that endearing spirit. It's very natural, immediately apparent that you are positive, that you bring to the table this sincerity. And I think that'll not just bode well for your career, but for your endeavors, and especially that foundation. Never silence. To be able to, through giving, not only you receive, but you impact lives in a very positive way. Was it by their fruits ye shall know them? The scripture reminds us. You do, and people will see it, good or bad. And I pray you always do the great things that brings you joy and helps others. Is there anything within our society in particular, and especially amongst our young people, that may in their minds seem to be hindering, harming in some way, causing them not to feel as encouraged and nurtured, as positive, to move forward? That impediment that they may see before them that is almost unbearable and overcome, and you're not sure they can overcome.
I would say that if individuals around them, their family, their friends, their just people they meet on the street, acquaintances maybe, if those people provide them with enough guidance, enough encouragement, enough love, I believe that they'll feel more,
that sense of positivity, that sense of hopeful expectation.
Yeah. I think with a lack of that, they'll feel more degraded and like they can't accomplish anything.
It's interesting how we don't really appreciate how words can be cutting. They can encourage, but they can sort of tear down. Probably the greatest weapon of all is probably the mouth, the tongue, the things that we say in anger, when we're sometimes hurt, or even when we want to manipulate. So that speaking to others, speaking into being, speaking to them in a positive way, easier said than done though. I mean, how do we get that place of positivity? I can see others listening now thinking, oh, there we go again. Life isn't always good and grand. There's
it's not. We have to make the most of it.
How do we do that from your position thus far? Because some people will say, oh, I've only got 2 eggs. Let me see what I can do. And they may scramble them and have a 2-egg omelette of sorts. They may boil and share, but they may say, I could put this into something and make a bigger serving or something. 2 eggs is just what I need. Others can see the potential in the slightest of things, and may they have everything and can't see the worth in it at all.
Yeah, I believe they just need to look for their silver lining and the bigger image, and not just limit themselves to this, this little hiccup in the road, overcome that, and then more positive things will follow.
Is that something you think that we have that is innate? Is it something that's nurtured? Because there are those that are always positive, or try to be.
I try to be. I'm not always positive, I try to be though.
Try to be. So it's a consciousness then. You choose, what is the challenge, but you choose, what? Let me see if I can see an opportunity in this. That's silver lining. Today is to me a beautiful day. It's raining. Could it be better if we were indoors or outside playing in the rain? There's some of us who are glad, the rain, because the plants getting watered, or it's a little cooler. Today was, according to the meteorologist, supposed to be pretty hot. It might still be.
As I mentioned before, one negative thing can be also a positive thing in different ways, like COVID, for instance. So, whenever you see something negative happening, it's not always, a bad thing.
Make the best of it, right?
Yeah.
I like that spirit. Yeah, it's negative. 'Cause just like today with the rain, people went, "Oh boy, I wonder if bad weather's out," and I wonder. And those are real things that you're probably concerned about, but don't dwell on it. Is what you're saying. Acknowledge it and try to look forward and productively to the positive things that lies ahead. That's a wonderful spirit. I'm glad I'm in your company today because we draw strength from that, right? Maybe 2 quick final things, and of course whatever you wish to offer up as well. Speaking to your sort of fellow classmates, your peers, your age group, or speaking to younger people, the 5-year-old, the 10-year-old, or speaking to older people, the 35, the 50, the retired and retiring professionals, of all of the sort of activities that you had. 2 things: which age group, which interaction do you found you find it easier to reach and to communicate with?
I wouldn't pinpoint a specific group. I wouldn't.
Okay. Maybe that's unfair to ask.
Yeah. It would be unfair to one of them. But if you just deliver the right message in the right way, I think you can touch various age groups.
You know what? I like not only the respectful response given, but my apologies. I think that sometimes, and what I was thinking too, that we often look at our own not with the level of love and encouragement and nurturing that we should, and listening to you reminds us that we should, and it's so easy, just as you demonstrate, to love on people, to provide that space where they're encouraged, and we can learn much from each other. I think through a platform like you have and a person like who you are, you obviously show that if we're willing, we can do much.
Yeah. Even though my journey is coming to an end, if I could, I would be the Miss Teen forever, I would say. But, the pageant is August 28th, so it's time to give up my crown and give another bright and ambitious young lady a chance to become educated on what matters to them, their purpose, and their true calling.
Yeah. I think this year promises to be another wonderful cohort of applicants, contestants.
Contestants,
Is that the word?
yeah.
Okay. And it just shows us what we have in our society. We just need to draw alongside and continue to help them to excel. And you have provided us with every reason, why that, I don't want to call it that sacrifice, but that reason to draw alongside is so important. I wish you at the very best of everything as you go forward in your future endeavors, and as you find your way. Hopefully we'll continue to be supportive and nurturing and help them in every which way we can.
If I may, I would love to speak about some events coming up.
Yes, please.
Yes, so we have the motorcade for the Miss Teen contestants on August 21st. We leave up from the Lions Center at 9 a.m. and the routes, we go from Georgetown to West Bay, then East End. So ensure to come out and support the contestants. Decorate your cars with their numbers, wave their signs so they can feel encouraged and loved. And don't forget to come to the Miss Teen pageant on August 28th. The gates open at 5:30 and then the show starts at 7. Tickets are on sale. Premium tickets, they're going to be, I wouldn't say they're going to be canceled, but we have to sell them by Friday because there's limited seating. So ensure to buy your premium ticket now. And I hope to see you all at my final walk on August 28th. So, yeah.
Well, thank you. And the other, young ladies who are going to be taking the stage, I think they are all encouraged by you. They all see, what is lying ahead for them because of Miss Teens like you. So, thank you so much for wearing that crown with such a wonderful, stellar, and encouraging way. So thank you, Miss Jada.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Miss Jada Borden, the reigning Miss Teen, and she's on the 20th of August. Well, we have an opportunity to crown another wonderful young lady. I'm going to pause and take a short break, and when we come back, we invite you to be part of it. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed. guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. If current projections hold, potential Tropical Storm 6 is likely to become a tropical storm later today or tonight and expected to be north of our area in the next 72 hours early Friday morning. On the forecast track, the system is expected to move near Puerto Rico tonight, over Hispaniola on Wednesday, and along eastern Cuba from Thursday afternoon. The system is likely to weaken as it interacts with Hispaniola on Wednesday. In international news, a U.S. woman who alleges she was brought to the U.K. aged 17 to have sex with the Duke of York has filed a civil case in New York claiming he abused her. She says she was sexually assaulted by Prince Andrew in London and New York. He has consistently denied the claim. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has resigned after an inquiry found he sexually harassed multiple women and prompted efforts to remove him. The best way I can help now is if I step aside and let government get back to governing, the 63-year-old Democrat said on Tuesday. His resignation goes into effect in 14 days. Power will then be transferred to Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. North Korea has failed to respond to phone calls from the South just weeks after the two countries restored hotlines. It comes hours after the influential sister of North Korea's leader said the South should pay a price for holding military drills with the U.S. The two Koreas remain technically at war after a conflict between the two sides ended in 1953. They typically check in with each other twice a day over two hotlines. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
This week on The Flex, get ready.
If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast.
For beauty and brains, sirens and chains.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Our guest list includes this year's Miss Teen contestants, as well as two officers of the law.
Police, open up. What do you want? We just want to talk. You have a warrant? No, but just come outside. We want to talk with you. I don't want to talk. How many of you are there? There's two of us, sir. Go then, talk to each other.
We'll be speaking to two Flex family members about their adventures while working with the RCIPS.
All that and more this Wednesday from 4 to 5 on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. Listen live on YouTube or call in and join the conversation.
Youth Flex, a program for all people by young people. Youth Flex, more than talk.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be an open line now here on Talk Today as we invite you to share your thoughts with us. And if I might, once again, say to our parents and all the others in our society to continually, nurture our young people who provide for them the opportunities that lie ahead, the chances that they have, to be able to excel. It is amazing where we are, that we can live in such a great space. So 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261. You can share your thoughts with us in any which way you want as we invite you to call. Just looking just quickly at what I thought was a WhatsApp message that came through earlier. I wanted to realize, well, it was, but it wasn't intended for today's discussion. It's something that I'm working on in a response. And that's a great part that we have. Everybody's sharing, and willing to assist. And this is what makes us better. So, what's on your mind? What thoughts or particular topics that you want to share? Well, give us a shout. 949-8037, toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255 or 949-6990, 949-8037 if you wish to have a thought and share it like that as well. Yesterday, following the discussion, a number of you reached out in different ways, some personally, some through other means, to share how seemingly more and more, we get into a place where we're not necessarily being civil and kind and understanding with respect to our perspective, not only the way we say it, but the way sometimes we receive it. One lady said, well, in these times, it's not about peace, but about war. That division and discord that we're increasingly finding, as a sort of gentleman echoed, green, in a space now where there's so much confusion. He shared, for instance, in his workplace, employers wanted certain things to happen and had given their staff sort of a mandate to bring it about. And for the staff, it was a bit of just a heated discussion as to how would the best place to achieve this understanding that there were not only competing interests to serve. On one hand, how do you deliver that level of customer service to the clientele to make them, feel not just valued, but the level of responsiveness in terms of the timeliness in which they deliver their service, but not only to compete with costs in order to ensure that people and their profits and the bonuses are there at the end of the day, but to ensure that people have a sense of value in their work. And I may share more as you will lead. But let's go to this caller. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you so much for calling. Welcome.
Hi, Sterling. How are you?
Very thankful, How are you today?
Not too bad. Thankful to be here in Cayman Islands, wherever we want to be.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, huh?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to hit on about 3 different things, so bear with me.
Oh, sure, of course.
I went down to the 7 Mile Beach a couple evenings ago,
mm-hmm.
and I saw the handicap mat that's what got rolled up there.
Mm-hmm.
And Sterling, apparently it seems to be 2 other pieces there that's not joined on. So that particular one that got run to the water, crackling the edge of the water, quite something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Sterling, I could not believe the condition the mat was in. The mat was covered with sand. When to get down to the edge of the going into the water, so I don't know how a wheelchair can push in. How a wheelchair works there at that little point.
Right.
And then further up now, this mat is being covered by sand, and in a lot of areas off the mat that run up there to the water,
Mm-hmm.
And I want to use this word. It looks like it's not being maintained, and also there's a wall there. They built when they run that mat there with Mr. McLaughlin. I don't know what the correct word is for it. When they did this little plaque and so forth
mm-hmm.
of putting it up there.
The donation and the little things we do unto ourselves to kind of self-promote. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and if that's not being maintained either, that is dropping the pieces and need painting.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say that, we get these things and they're not being maintained. They run long after a period of time. And
right.
Do
you know if that red light by the 2 questions, I suppose they're bathrooms out front there. Do you know if that 2 things, if those bathrooms are functional? Can people use them? Because I'm being repeatedly asked to ask about it, but not getting anywhere. They seem to be locked all the time, and then there's a red light in the front facing the main road. I guess that's be east, the bypass. So when you're looking from there to your left, the red light outside of the door. So people are complaining about it from the perspective that, it doesn't look good. What does it signify? But it doesn't provide any level of, adequate lighting for security and the like. So, either two of those, the bathrooms are accessible and open, and that light's still there. Maybe it's a red light district. I don't know.
I didn't know. I didn't actually notice something like that.
Yeah.
But the matter is really deteriorating already, and other beaches so need these things now too. But look at this one, then when not being maintained, you probably don't get another one at another beach throughout the island, And Sterling, to go down there to the beach and try to enjoy yourself, and you got these guys down there smoking this ganja. I don't know about it, smoking ganja, but you should respect the other people around you when you're doing that kind of stuff, because not everybody's involved in it. You know what I mean?
Right. So, but what about the people that are there, drinking whatever they're drinking and carousing and carrying on? I mean,
I don't give none of that. I don't give none of that Sterling and corrosion and carrying on. Like for example, the parade they had on Saturday, we had a police officer was on his motorbike. I don't know what he was doing. He was securing the crowd, or he was into the parade. And then this young lady got onto the motorbike with the police, and he didn't make any effort to take this young lady off. Plus, another lady right up alongside her started dancing up on her while she was on this motorbike with this officer. I don't know if that was really right for that to be happening, or he had the right to do that, or what the situation was.
But that might have made his day. That might have made his day.
It sure made his day. Made a lot of people upset. They know he's a police officer.
They're human too, right?
Yes, we're all human, Sterling. We all have to set examples too. That's what we have a problem with. Nobody wants to set examples for the living no more. Everybody's doing their own thing, and I think that when you're part of the law, you have to set examples for people around you. That if you want to see good citizens, you have to help. That's what we got you there for.
So as people in position, we have to lead by example, whether it's a parent or otherwise, right? Is that what you're saying?
Say that again?
Whether in people in position, whether you're parent, police officer, pastor, or politician, you have to lead by example.
They have to lead, yes, I would think so. Of course, you follow their example to be a better person in your community. I would think. I don't know what you think about it, but if you don't have no proper, decent examples throughout living in some small island, then we all live in one basket of crowds.
But is it then that maybe our value system has shifted? We're not probably of that same ethos as our forefathers in terms of public morality and decency, in terms of, what we see as right and wrong.
Everything has changed from our forefathers' days on. Everything has changed to the worst. We are looking at what the rest of the world is doing, and if we can't join the rest of the world, we're not counted. And now it's sad to know that we didn't have to be counted before. Now we have to be counted. They say if you don't get you know what the saying is we got here? If you don't join the world, we'll be left behind. I'm like, really? Do we have to do everything that they're doing? Do we have to say everything that they say? We were such a very unique, beautiful Cayman Island paradise. Then we got to Cayman Times, which I don't too hard about, but I use the word.
But then don't use it then.
I try not to.
I mean,
but I have to use it because that's what they got to see.
But why? I mean, and I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I mean, I can share with you that there are those, including myself, who see it as an unfortunate approach to things. And again, like so much, marketing in order to create a false thing. Why not just be genuine, right? So if we don't like something, how many of us will eat things we don't like? Or how many of us are not courageous enough to say, we don't stand for this, so, we have a
mixture. There's a mixture here, all over the world. But Sterling, where we coming from to see where we going is really ticklish. But it's not going to get any better. And because we're changing our pace every day to please everybody except our own selves that live here, that been here, our forefathers who helped build this country. Now they're not even recognized them or even digging up the graveyards to make roads. So, I mean, what else are you going to do in French? something?
Mm-hmm.
Cayman is a place to die for. It's a place to die for. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we must bend our laws and rules and regulations to please other people because they want to come and do their own thing. When you leave your country, you got to come and join our country. I don't say the country, our island, and be us. Don't come and expect to be still where you just come from. I'm not saying throw away your country, but respect the country you're in. And we're not having that here in Cayman Sterling.
Right. I hear what you're saying, right? But think of it this way. You know, if what is it that we're told, even a country song probably is about that. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, right?
Anything.
And when we're pointing fingers, do we really look at, one, how many are pointing back at us, but more importantly, you know, who are we pointing at? So, to your perspective, maybe we need to look within and ask ourselves as we welcome people, as we come to this space, just like you were saying, are we sharing in a sense of unity and community? Is that a sense of what unifies us, that collective ethos that it makes us? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ellen, a lot of Caymanians try to be nice with whoever they come across, and they get a cold shoulder. You go into the door to open a door in a business or wherever, and if you put your hand in that door, some other hand grab it before you, and then they go in and let the door and right off in your face.
Right.
And that is the behavior that we got here in Cayman. We are not united, and we will never be, because people come here from wherever they want to come from. They come in to see what they find. They want to change it, and they want to bring in some of their own masters with them.
Okay.
That we live here. We from here.
So let me ask them. Yeah. Let me ask you and those who are listening. When those things happen, when they're going through the door, or when we enter a room, people don't speak, when people are rude to us, when, as you just said last, you know, we see the one nasty for the ways, what do we do then? When those things happen to us, what is our response? What do we do?
Well, darling, I'm going to tell you something. If and when that happens to me, I open my mouth and I say things. I say things to the individual, and I don't care if they like it or not. I try not to disrespect them. But I let them know how disrespectful they was at that present time. It's like when I go to the grocery store, and I went to the grocery store yesterday, and the lady bring up my goods, and she never said, "Good afternoon, how are you?" But while she's bringing my stuff up, another customer came to the counter, and she asked the customer how she was doing, and never asked me how I was doing.
Why do you think that was? Why do you think she ignored you?
I don't know.
Okay, so
I turned to her and I said to her, Sterling, I said, "Whoa!" I said, "Why you are ringing at my bed, and you didn't even speak to me? Like someone come in line waiting to be checked out, and you hold a conversation with them." I said, "Whoa, what customer service?"
All right, so you know, some of us would ignore things. So in that analysis, right?
And I'm not ignoring nothing.
Right. You know, we look at it, you know, is it that the person, that the cashier, as you mentioned, and the customer, are they friendly and familiar? Are they of the same ilk? You know, maybe they have a shared commonality. Maybe, you know, what I'm getting at is sometimes, A, how do we analyze the situation, what conclusions we draw, and B, how do we respond? Some of us will just grumble and complain, mumble under our breath. Some of us will. No, not you. And we won't say things in a way that are constructive, right? So it brings me back to something that I wrote down. One word when you first started. You know, nice. Maybe it's not about being nice. Maybe it's about being necessary. Some people need, you know, proper correction, but some of that is us who are responding to something that's happened. Us who are failing to set the right example to give the correction and the instruction that is needed, right? And then some of us who, for whatever reason, we can make excuses for them, you know. A nice word that I like to use is a fodder. Some of us might understand what I mean, right? But it's not a compliment. And the problem is, we're not setting the example. We're not continually raising the bar. And it's easier to be divided and point fingers and get caught up, right? we have some people who are here from other places and they've only been here recently and they're wonderful. They've been here for 10 years and they're great. They've been here for 30, 40, 50 years. And they're great. But in that category, there are some that, the first time you set eyes on them, you know they're not much good, right? But that also applies to those of us who have, ancestral links.
I don't know what we're going to do, but I'll tell you one thing. As long as my eyes are open, and anybody disrespect me in any category, I'm going to try to be as nice as possible. But if it doesn't work out to be too nice, well, I want to speak my mind because I'm not going to make it eat me out and choke me before I go sleep that night.
Fair enough.
Because we got to put our foot on the ground and say, you know what? We deserve respect. In Sterling, I need to go into the store and it's raining right now, but listen to me. I need to check out that police motorbike parade with this beautiful lady riding in the back and another one coming jumping on the side and having a part of their life. If that police officer was in that parade, did he got the permission to do it? And if not, then why did he let that happen and using our police motorbike?
Well, sounds like a good picture they're making. I mean, maybe the police officer, just had the time. I guess it was a guy in his life. But it could be, did something similar happen the week before? He could be one of the police officers from the Village People, with his leather chaps and, spandex and what. I don't know. Hey, those are... Anyway, let me leave that be before the joke isn't so much any more jovial. Hey, thank you. Keep your hair dry, all right?
Yeah, man, Sterling. Thank you. Have a great one.
You too. Blessings, Mom. All right, a couple of calls to take, a few minutes late in the break, but when we come back, hey, who's going to share with me? Join the callers. Please, stay on the line.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Julia Ann Ruddy, 1877 to 1942. Julia Ann Ruddy, née Lazari, was married to Henry Watson Ruddy, ISO, with whom she had 3 children. She served as a nurse and midwife on Cayman Brac for many years. She rode a bicycle between her home in Stake Bay and whatever part of the island the mother-to-be lived in. She was sometimes assisted by her husband, the only dispenser doctor on the Brac. She was a very kind and compassionate woman who reached out to the less fortunate, helping them, sharing with them, and caring for them during illness. She was loved by all.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us today on the Open Line edition of Talk Today as we go straight to the phones. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Sterling, and thank you for taking my call.
How are you today?
I'm very thankful.
Amen.
I am 199% with Miss Jan. I hope that she don't get upset by me calling her name. But it is really sad to see what this little island is coming to. All our morals are dead. They are gone. We have no morals left. And the thing is, the people that are coming here have no insight of where we're coming from. We had our forefathers that made this island when it was a penny and a halfpenny.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't know what it is, they can go back and look for the definition of a penny and a halfpenny. Because right now, this little island is only here for come, get rich, and go and destroy this island. I am so sad to see what is happening. I mean, we have so much other sadness around, and they're on the street parading and having a nice dance. And, you know, we were never brought up like this. And we need to have a government that has to stand up for what we really think.
Mm-hmm.
This little island is going way, way back. We're not even coming any way forward for the goodness of the people of the Cayman Islands, the real Caymanians. We were never like this in all our life. I am in my 60s, nearly 70, and I can tell you this is one of the worst times I've seen. And I feel so sorry for the children, the grandchildren, the great-grand, and all the other ones. What we need, instead of having a parade, stripping themselves to new, you know what? We need to have a revival, an island-wide revival, because there's a lot more to come. So we better get down and pray real hard and ask God to forgive us, because if they don't see what is coming, I can feel it. And I know a lot of Caymanians, real Caymanians can. And those police officers, they need to be properly trained. They're out there enjoying themselves just like the rest of them. I wouldn't even say. But anyway, I just wanted you to listen to my 2 cents today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you too for sharing that, and enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay, Mom. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
This is it.
Hey, how are you today, my friend? All is well?
You got some things on your shoulders today, eh?
Oh, you know, I hope that I have the strength of character, the wisdom, and the heart of service, and, you know, but life is good.
Yes, man. Always, yeah. But first of all, still, I don't really agree with what they talking about that police. I want to say he look like he was properly trained. He hold out that bicycle well.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, that motorbike well.
Yeah, man.
And furthermore, he bought them motorbikes. I love to see them getting used in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Than chasing down ganja smokers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, a motorcycle cop, you know, I don't know. It was a good day, I guess, for him. But to the wider point, though, it is that, and I say this carefully, is it that maybe we have a changed expectation now of authority in policing? Is it that in an attempt to be more community-centric, that we try to participate? Is it that for some of us we're not necessarily conscious? You know, it's like the student in a school uniform or the football player, you know, still in the jersey. People don't only just see you; they see the organization of which you're a part.
Yeah, that's right. But still, I want to know, not much police officers you got that, you know what I mean, could tolerate somebody getting on their bike or coming winding up on them.
It makes you want to get a bike now,
Some of them pull that gun.
Yeah.
Pull that taser and watch them do the shakes. You know? Some of them don't got the time for that. So at least we can say, well, boy, all police officers, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They not what it is, trigger happy.
Mm-hmm. But
thank God for that.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
But that's the thing, right? I mean, in the UK's premise of policing, he talked about it being a community-centric, you know, the community is the police is the community. We see a model being rolled out, sadly, you know, through the media. It seems to be that it's reflected in the US. That behavior that we see in some policing forces, if there was in another part of the world, we probably would have, you know, less than complimentary comments. You know, we probably use many words, you know, from garrison, you know, to totalitarian, you know, to all sorts of, you know, unflattering ways to describe the behavior. But maybe they've become urban commandos, you know, semblance of a military approach to what should be just civic and civil, you know, way to maintain, you know, law and order. So, which way are we going in? What are we going to do if it doesn't go the way that we think? And do we even have an idea of what we want that thing to look like? You know,
I don't think they can understand really what writing a law based on opinions and not facts can do to a little small society like this. You understand? They don't understand that. But one thing you got to put an example now is, or you got to try. You can see that the future of this place, if we keep on going on the way we're going on, that you're able to cast judgment and put a set life way on this island just because you made a mistake or you did something that was not following the crowd. You understand?
But
right? So one of these places is Belize, right?
Okay.
That place is the same metric as this place. Understand? You're getting arrested for some little things of a ganja, and you can't do nothing. So what you next to do? The next thing they do, they go and get the gun and they start robbing all places.
But let me ask, right? And I don't I don't believe that we have enough opportunity, and we don't take it when we do, or we don't make it when we can, to very responsibly, respectfully, in a very civilized, constructive way, have open dialogue and discussion, challenging the status quo, challenging the use or abuse of authority or position, right? And trying to invite us to a higher ground, as it were. And take drugs. Why is it we say drugs and alcohol? Alcohol is a drug. Why is it that we seemingly accept that that's a great way to socialize? It probably is, right? But why is it that somehow we can have an event, and the expectation is that there's going to be something served, and that served means that it's of an alcoholic content, and we can, after an evening out of food and fellowship and some drink, that is okay for that person, you know, with, you know, family in tow or other friends, or even, you know, by him or herself, get into the vehicle and drive, right? But for some reason,
other people like in danger at the same time,
right?
Nobody don't stop the server from serving the person that's going to drive either.
Right, but the society doesn't seem to have in it the I don't want to say the sense. That's not the right word, but that's the word that we would quickly use, right? To see, you know, the fallacy in that. We did something, and some would say, you know, a little bit too late, but we did it anyway. We said no smoking in the little tin can that we call an airplane. That seamless space that we, when we go into the airports, that we're 50 miles apart, but we, you know, confined into this tin can, we recirculate the air nowadays, right? So we banned that because the smoking section in the back only stayed, had the smoke there. We banned it in restaurants and other indoor spaces. There's a great physician here who has always suggested that maybe, if his words are recalled correctly, like they're doing in Canada, you're not by law, allowed to smoke inside a car where they're young children, they're children, all right? Maybe we should do that. Now, many of us will roll the windows down or don't at all, just out of what we think is a respect. So we did something with smoking and in public spaces in relation to it not being social accepted. We haven't done a little with drinking, and yet the same smoking, when it comes to the ganja, the spliff, the marijuana, the herb, whatever you call, we seem to be up in arms about it. And then there are those with great respect championing it for be decriminalized, not legalized, getting caught up in the semantics, not really understanding the consequence of the difference between the two, and pushing it only for, one reason as opposed to exploring it fully for what it could be: medicinal, agricultural, employment, the economic aspect of it there. Why are we so oblivious to the obvious?
Why really? Because remember, if you can remember what it was created illegal for. It was created illegal to keep minorities in check.
Well, it is time, and I think that
and just to be straight, it wasn't like a Cayman minority. It was all them mixed race,
right,
all them black and white children, to make sure that anyhow they ever step out of line and try to go follow their roots or go find out what their roots is.
Yeah.
You're going to get in trouble for it.
But is it then? And I was going to say, it is time for people to start to think, to be constructive, to be civil and positive.
Yeah.
Right? We had erected statues to people, and whatever the reasons are, and because they had the power or whichever, it don't really matter, right? But there was a realization that we're celebrating some people who really, they didn't have anything to offer, but maybe what they were at the time. And so we take those statues now. But is it now time to maybe we examine human history, not with malice, but with a genuine purpose? Is it time that we start to hold, ourselves accountable and demand responsibility of those of us in authority?
I bet you none of them will admit they were wrong in making that legal. They should have stopped all them cigarettes from coming here a long time. How much cancer cases we got around it?
But and I don't know the case now. When I
people
think
even smoke.
Yeah, it may have been in the 90s, but I remember stumbling across something some time ago. Way back when. I think it was in Canada, where cigarettes, for instance, legal in Canada and the US, and there was a smuggling operation that was highly profitable. The boats would go across the big lake there and go into the adjoining country and bring back cigarettes, illegal commodity, and then unsell it and make a lot of profit. So increasing the taxes on things or making it legal or the level of regulation may not necessarily achieve the outcome. So whatever mistakes we've made in the past, are we apt to repeat them because of our prejudice? Why not consider it?
If you see how much things that make go wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
I keep telling you, the lawyers, the judges, everybody, the police, everybody, just for you to come and see me up inside the space, the little AC spaces with all my people, and you going.
It's a cost.
Yeah, it's a cost for that, right?
Right.
If you didn't have that, what else you would have to do?
Right, but
you would have to find something bigger to do. You would have to stop somebody from, understand, giving out an illegal permit, or you understand?
Yeah, but as we have the discussion, we need to carefully consider that we don't make some of the same mistakes of the past, whether it was with alcohol or whether it was with tobacco. As we push to not decriminalize, but to legalize drugs of any kind, right? Are we going about it in the right way so that it doesn't just become a recreational use, but it's something that becomes a level of responsibility?
Yeah, no. First of all, Mr. D.
Yes, sir.
When you see that Portugal. Portugal have it all drugs legal.
We see Holland as well, right?
Yeah, Holland. Well, Holland got it with taxes. You understand?
Right.
But Portugal got it 17 years now. In the predictions or the saying about drugs legalized in small communities like this year, it says that you would have an increase in drug use. When you go and look at Portugal have the opposite. They have a decrease. They have almost all the new generations, they don't want nothing to do with drugs or alcohol or tobacco.
Education, right?
Remember you had one sit there and say how you have to learn about ganja, you gotta get arrested. Remember? You had one come there and I asked him personally how you gotta learn about ganja. You gotta get arrested first.
Yeah, it's kind of like
that's money. Nobody can. No age, no wisdom can come and smell up around me. But what you doing around here? You want some man?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
As you said that, and I don't wish to belabor. I thank you, for sharing your thoughts and being so persistent and passionate about it, and to the other callers were sharing. But as you were saying, I quickly thinking back to the little I understand about the initiative, the state of California in the U.S. has embarked upon this, towards tobacco 21, where they wanted to raise the age of smoking the cigarette to 21. And through their education, just like you said, their public health awareness and the like, they've seen significant outcomes that are successful. Decrease in people smoking, the increase in the age at which people start to smoke, the significant decrease in healthcare costs because of less people smoking or more people quitting and the like. So back to your point, if we have an education, a concerted educational effort to inform people, engage them as to what is before them, just like maybe we do with sex and sexuality, as it comes to making healthy choices relative to your body and relationships, as to it comes to the outcomes and consequences of our actions. It may mean that people, not just young people, but people may make choices that are more informed, that seem to be healthier. They may postpone the age at which they initiate in a sexual encounter, or when they do, they may do so from an informed perspective relative to their personal safety and the knowledge of potential consequences, even when they're safe, at whatever age that is. And maybe when they decide to start a family, their choices may be much healthier, much better. But just to your point, it comes back to education, and engage, inform effort to educate people so that they have knowledge. Is that what is lacking?
That's what is lacking. You heard him say we gotta get arrested first. You gotta get arrested first because you're gonna go through the system. You gotta try to learn something after that.
Yeah, man. Listen, I always can chat with you. I learn much. Anything finally you want to share with us?
No, thank you. Just God bless you for this.
Amen, brother.
Thank you very much.
All the best to you, man. Hope it goes well. Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. We'll pause quickly, I believe, and take that break. And when we come back, we'll join the callers if you still wish to stay on the line. Stay tuned.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
3T Cayman MRI is the patient-friendly MRI experience in the Cayman Islands. With the most advanced scanner on island, utilizing cutting-edge technology, and a team of highly trained radiologists and technologists with the experience that rivals any clinic in the world. Our suite is designed for patient comfort, with the largest patient opening of any scanner, and additional features to minimize anxiety during your scan. Come to 3T Cayman MRI for your patient-friendly experience. Learn more at 3tkman.com.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years, ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
Census 2021. Come on, get ready. Census starting 10th of October 2021. Census information is secret. Census 2021. Census starting October 10th. 2021. Census 2021. Census.
2021 Census. Everyone counts.
I want to make an important point for you here. In the end, you can be friendly with your child. That's a beautiful thing, but not at the expense of being their parent. The key is to have a responsible relationship with your child. Responsible adults don't let their children make excuses for failure. They don't badmouth their teachers. That's the type of relationship you need with your child. It's called being a responsible adult. An adult who loves their child at the same time holds their child accountable. It's called effective parenting. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
Optical Outlook Caymanian Village location has moved. Same great services and products, new location. We've moved to Anderson Square in central Georgetown. It's a much larger space with dedicated parking. Please call us on 746-2020 to make your appointment at our new location today. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please come see the difference with Optical Outlook, Cayman's premier optical provider.
What do you do if you have to go to a shelter? To help you safely prepare, evacuate, and shelter while protecting yourself and others from COVID-19 this hurricane season, here's some tips from the Public Health Department. If you must go to a shelter, be ready to protect yourself and others. Practice social distancing of at least 6 feet from others. Follow public health's preventative actions. Wash your hands with soap and water, often if possible, or use hand sanitizer, cover coughs and sneezes, and wear masks or cloth face coverings. Get your COVID-19 vaccine when eligible. Avoid sharing food and drink with anyone. For more guidance to update your emergency hurricane plans due to coronavirus, visit www.caymanprepared.gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Public Health Department in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Department of Environment would like to invite Cayman Brac residents to a special community meeting at the Spot Bay Primary School this Thursday, 12th August at 7:30 p.m. to discuss the conservation plan for the shrub known as Sybil's crownbeard. The entire world population of Sybil's crownbeard grows on the north-facing cliffs of Cayman Brac's Bluff. The community meeting is this Thursday, 12th August, 7:30 p.m. at Spot Bay Primary School. To learn more, download the plan from www.conservation.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. What a terrific Tuesday's edition of Talk Today as we go straight to the phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I can't tell you. Look here,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Sterling.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to do the Georgetown thing, repeat again
Mm-hmm.
how I believe that safe and ethical, compassionate marijuana has been asked. The question has been asked here in Cayman, and we have compassionately answered and say yes, 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 but for medical uses only. Ganja, herb, grass, anything you want to call it, compassionately available here, prescribed by a trained and ethical doctor. We can get it every day. Somebody tell me after yesterday how the doctor said I can help you out with your pain. You can get it. So when you want to see pink and purple leaves on a mango tree, and little things like that in kaleidoscope lights and all that kind of thing, you got to get sick first, baby. You can get it. It's here, Sterling. Or you can. I'm not going to fufu. It's here. It's here. It's available by everybody can get it. He who need it.
Yeah.
He who don't need it, no, we're not going to have you walking them down the street dragging your foot.
Right. Let me ask though, because, and I'm probably not the best person to speak to because I have not yet, as I think I should have done, read up on it to the extent to inform myself properly, right? And that's probably
You can't read now.
and that's probably because I have a particular perspective on it. But the more you look and listen and learn, a couple of things immediately spring to mind. We at risk of continued importation of a product where the quality control is suspect? As I hear from reliable informed sources, people in authority and otherwise, that seemingly some of the stuff that comes in is laced with formaldehyde and other things, right? That creates problems for those who use, right? We also gather that it's used as a way to bring in guns and other illegal, illicit stuff. We hear that the plant itself has good medicinal value. It can be used in building materials and clothing.
That other kind of it.
Yeah. Well, no.
Right.
Remember
how that commercial crop.
Right.
And then you got that other kind of crop underneath the bushes. No. You can't trust people.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Right. I said I don't know much about it. Right. But just generally speaking, we also understand that attempts to, I use the word legalize, and I say that because the more I understand, the more I understand the choice between the word legalize and decriminalize, I think it's
no different.
No, actually, no. That's what I was led to believe. But I think there's a significant difference in the legal consequences. So I don't want us to even play semantics. Let's be specific. And what I've heard from people, let's say Jamaica is an example. Let's say the Canadians have come in, taken over the market, displaced who was the normal local farmer, and so the money that is being made, and I can put this nicely as it was put to me, right? The economy has been exploited, so the financial gain to the local entrepreneur, to the government's coffers, is not being enjoyed to the extent. So if we as a jurisdiction will consider doing certain things, what model are we going to adopt, and to what extent are we going to ensure that any benefit, financial, social...
Well, I can get a job then because I can go on the farm because I like planting too. I can go in the farm and I can take out all the big things out of the pot and put them in the ground because I don't want none of it.
Okay, no, fair enough. And
my whole thing is here. There's exploitation all over again because the human condition exists. When you see them run up to the front, they won't get a job. Why are you unemployed? That is only if you get to work on the farm.
Right.
I don't trust none of them. And any of them who stop and wrap that desk every day for it, they're the ones that don't need to get no part of it because it becomes exactly what it is now today, a stumbling block in the way of Cayman developing how we should develop.
You see, and I
still want to save Collier's Pond.
I think we should save that Barker's Barefoot Beach. If I had my way, maybe we could knock down from the glass house straight through the Tower Building, the Court Building, and make plants.
Glass house, though, not cutting Jim.
No, not that one, but I mean coming straight down and everything between Nova Scotia and the courthouse in LA. I mean, why not create parks, right? Let's get rid of a lot of things, you know. But you see, the problem is that we don't want to stand and do the right thing, right? And come back to the...
I can tell them I'm sorry with the plantation. I come in there, I can part out the plant because I don't want no part and none of it.
Right. But let's look...
I old, but I can get a job. I can get a job.
That's one. But let's look at two things, right? Let's look at a perception that I think many of us have. The young boy, we talked to the young boy who's smoking a spliff, right? The ganja, the joint, the marijuana, whatever we call it, right? And we say that now...
Don't lost their mind.
Yeah, the young boy now is becoming lethargic and lazy, lack of ambition, right? That's what we say. But then somehow, the person who is drinking some sort of alcohol...
That can go too.
Right? No, I'm with you. And we're wondering to what extent we're doing anything that not only provides a better society, but we're dealing with the growing ills that are, increasingly evident in our society. And are we prepared?
And now, why should the government have to fork out money? My government coffers to aid people who never had no control over their behavior to begin with. I think the government should try to regulate their behavior more than then down the road.
Right.
We got bill cost $1 million for foolishness.
But let's ask ourselves a couple of questions.
And anybody who stand up and rap that's all day, whether it's for alcohol, cigarette, ganja, or anything else.
Any drug,
except good cassava cake.
And chocolate.
I don't want to hear from them.
Yeah. But let's look at a couple of things, right? We have hopefully gotten to a space where I've asked and got conflicting responses. We had a 1986 misuse of drugs law that said to the police officer, you can stop and ask a person for urine specimen. They refused. They created strict liability. There's an offence right then and there, and there's a problem. We incarcerated, again, our young men for smoking a joint. We turned a blind eye to certain nationalities, whether they're Jamaican or Canadian or otherwise, because that was culturally accepted.
And our boys still willing to deliver it today, so they don't have to get on the street now.
Right. Okay.
They got delivery service, and that I know.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize that. Right.
So delivery service, long time.
Right. So we fast forward in 30 years or more, and we have the growing problem of these young boys now being middle-aged men.
Don't leave what the girls is.
Yeah. We shouldn't, but and. That society, that element of society, isn't being serviced. They're being further marginalized, and they're becoming increasingly.
No, but let me say something. Since you ain't going to engage me, let me engage you.
Yes, ma'am.
If you know that something is, and they know it is harmful to their health, it's harmful to their health, but they can get away with being belligerent and all those other things, and they're not going to do that, and they're going to do this, and But if you know something is harmful to your health, it's illegal. That means you don't have to have it because it's harmful to your health, and it's done already illegal. What kind of second chances and all this you want me to understand? You don't need it. It's not about bread.
Right.
It's not shilling bread. It's not coffee. It's not Milo. It's not eggs.
Right. But how is it, right?
You don't need that. You don't need that.
Yeah. Let me ask, right?
That, baby. You don't need that.
Yeah. No. Just want to say I'm probably not the best person because I'm not a strong proponent, but let me ask the question. It's a perception that the person smoking a joint is going to be a little bit chill, lazy, non-ambitious. The person having a drink of sort, and depending on the type of drink.
Same thing. I don't like little ones.
No, I agree. But may tend to be more belligerent, more aggressive, more violent, and that one is legal, provided you're of the requisite age, which is 18 above.
Get rid of the dichotomy. You can get rid of all two of them on this hallowed ground I call Cayman Islands, and remember, it's not because it don't belong to me, because every stand green here I call mine.
I'm with you, but this is the
get rid of all two.
The conflict that we have, right?
Because you should have a little Christmas cake and things like that. And I don't believe in food disappointment like certain people talk about all the time. I don't believe in food disappointment. We have plenty of that now. But outside of that, and as a little thing to clean cuts and things with, it's not going to use to me. So you could get rid of that.
Yeah, no.
I know how to stir it up at home, Oh.
I hear you, Mom. I hear you.
Okay. So get rid of all of that. That is what's killing our society.
Mm-hmm.
Our young, healthy, smart. And you know, man, I'm not going to ugly people. I'm the only one. And I can keep that tight, man. I'm not going to ugly people. You see ugly people on the street, they're not from here. We got everything in this country. Everything.
But respect for self.
These young people take and make people control their minds to the place that they can get up and put up a fight for something that is harmful to their health.
But are we not doing the same thing with, under the guise of tolerance and acceptance and?
No, I know you never heard them words of me. I believe I know what all to one means on a separate platform.
Mm-hmm.
But you never heard nothing about no tolerance. Look here, you didn't know you wouldn't know my mama. I couldn't go no further.
Yeah, so.
Look here, my mother never had nothing tolerated up in her house. Decided what she chose to say today, and it didn't have to be fair either.
So that's where I come back to my comment earlier.
Tolerance and all that. No. I'm not for that. I for right and wrong.
Not nice, but necessary.
I for right and wrong. Not about tolerance and acceptance and all that. You don't bring me nothing to accept that I don't know nothing about, because I never accept that.
Well, I say don't suffer fools wise,
the greatest thing, one of the greatest things that ever happened in my life. I used to like to go dance on Friday night, and then yap afterwards. And I remember being on what you call front page, and my young persons like myself, I want to talk politics, and they out there sitting down or giggling. And one of them must have guessed sick of seeing me. You know what he said to me? He said, look here now, you got to go home because we got to go behind you and burn it, and so you just try to go home now. You know what that told me?
Yep.
That stuck with me. They know that they're going to do behind there is wrong. That's why they're going behind there and do it, is number one. And they know that is not my scene.
Right. But they also think, I think they also realize that you being at the age you are, that wasn't a behavior. Instead of trying to force you or introduce you to it, it was a different way we approach things, right? So many of us may have had that similar experience where the group who engaged in whatever the drug was, from smoking a cigarette to ganja to alcohol.
Now, let's try go home. We won't go. No, you try go. You try go.
They didn't try to introduce you or force you on it, right?
No.
Like how we've seen in more recent times, a different culture, a different ethos, a different sense of respect for self and others. Something that we are, perhaps been displaced. But anyway, hey, thanks for your call and thanks for your call. Anything finally?
Yes, sir.
All right.
No, bye-bye.
With that, quickly pause for the break and listen to whoever calls after. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman, the voice, the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Police are investigating a burglary and indecent assault incident at Silver Oaks in Georgetown. A break-in occurred after 10 p.m. on Thursday, August 5th. Detectives are encouraging anyone with any information related to call the Georgetown Police Station at 949-4222. Anonymous tips can be provided directly to the RCIPS via their website. In international news, a Canadian citizen has lost his appeal against a death sentence in China for drug smuggling. The court said it upheld Robert Lloyd Schellenberg's sentence because evidence against him was sufficient. Schellenberg was initially sentenced to 15 years in jail, but in 2019, an appeal court said this was too lenient, leading to a retrial and a death sentence. U.S. job openings hit a fresh record in June amid reports the country continues to face a labor shortage. Job vacancies jumped by 590,000 to 10.1 million on the last day of the month, according to figures from the Labor Department. Firefighters from several European countries are helping Greek teams on the island of Evia to contain wildfires raging near a major town. Water-bombing helicopters are dousing the flames. At the island's northern tip, Ukraine, Romania, and Serbia sent help to the fire zone. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is open line here on this edition of Talk Today as we go right back to our phones. Good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling. Oh, I'm talking to myself. No, just kidding. 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. Hey, some days, you gotta find a way to make a little humor even in the midst of much despair and discord and disunity. But to the last caller, where are we in relation to that discourse that we have in publicly? A sense of being responsible and civil in our approach. As the caller was sharing, are we at a space now where we should be cognizant of the shifting cultural norms for whatever reason? You can call it influence of the media or globalization, the influx of people from many nations, whatever the reason is. But when we do change and respond, make amendments to our laws, or introduce new legislation, are we conscious of the potential impact? Perhaps an issue that always seems to raise the ire of many because of its emotive component is this notion of, we call it also, I think, same sex this. Now, whether it's true that there's an agenda, whether it should be that equally, we all should be treated fairly and in the same which way no matter what, or is it that it's just another red herring to divide and create that sense of angst amongst so many? We become indignant in our approach that we no longer have a sense of sobriety relative to our approach. And with that, are we okay? Not just allowing the casual use of alcohol or the encouraged use of it at celebrations, but now that we're talking about pushing the decriminalization or legalization, depending on how we approach it, should we be more responsible to ensure that, as the gentleman who called earlier, we have an educated approach to the consequences, that we have a regulated, infrastructure that ensures that the society and its people can benefit as much from it economically and otherwise? Are there agricultural as well as medicinal benefits to legalizing it? Are we somehow, consciously or otherwise, accepting that the use of certain drugs, whether it's alcohol, or whether it's a good cigar or other tobacco product, or whether it's the smoking of a joint spliff or whatever it's called by whomever, wherever, is okay if it's those people, the higher place members of our society. Maybe because it's culturally accepted and legal where they're from, or because of who they are. But for some reason, we ascribe one standard to one group and another to subsequent groups. Do we also, question the impact on all of these drugs on our society today and going forward? 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, 1-800-534-8255, or 949-8037. There's also a 949-6990. If you want to call and share your thoughts, you can also WhatsApp 925-3261. Let's read this WhatsApp message from one of our listeners as we pull it up here. I probably should get a different method to do this, but let's do it this way. So it's good afternoon, Mr. Sterling. Thank you for you. But my mind is thinking about the erosion of 7 Mile Beach and whose responsibility it is. Leaning towards the legacy of Europe, it's going to impact on the entire world's environment. Another listener has thankfully continually been asking, and hopefully we'll get a proper response, whether it's from the Roads Authority or otherwise. These continuing sort of use and imposition of these cones by the condominiums, not from what I gather only along Westbury Road and the 7 Mile Beach. Now, is it a hazard to motorists because they know where to pull off if an emergency vehicle is going? Is it also creating a level of discord because people can't pull off on the shoulder of the road and access seemingly cleared, marked beach accesses? Now, is it even legal? Was there authority given and by whom? Well, like so much, I think in our society, we turn a blind eye to things we don't think is important at that particular time until it becomes a problem because somebody, for whatever reason, decides to take action. And we may feel that is, well, just overreaching. Well, if the society has asked about certain things, maybe there needs to be a requisite response. But the society should not just wait for, a response from authority, whether it's politicians or government in some vein, whether through a statutory authority or agency, or a politician or a police. Maybe the populace needs to present itself in an organized way to ensure that just like legislation is passed, amended, and otherwise, enforced that reflects the cultural norms. Now, too many times it's too easy to blame others as opposed to accepting accountability for our own actions or inactions. As a caller was voicing earlier, it comes back to us deciding, do we engage in a level of heated discussion that leads to growing division, that cause people to be, so, against each other that they no longer are able to appreciate. In the end, or we all lose. Takes two hands to clap, they say, only one to beat your chest. It's unfortunate that we don't see how easily and sometimes maliciously and deliberately we're being manipulated so the outcomes can come. What is it we say? A house divided cannot stand. We talk about people divide and conquer. Well, good strategy sometimes if you are the conqueror. How does it play out if you're the conquered? 949-8037, 949-8037. Toll free with the kind compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. You can also WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. It is often not just the courageous who speak, sometimes the confused. Not often the people who have, nothing to lose but everything to gain who speak out. But sometimes it's those same people that refrain because they are fearful of, what they may lose. Well, is the loss greater for doing something or not doing anything? And at the end of the day, do we sleep comfortably knowing that we've taken a position of cowardice or have we been courageous? And is that courage imbued by, something that transcends whatever we've had to drink or smoke or to eat? And is it more of a choice to improve society as opposed for some selfish agenda? 949-8037, toll free with the compliments of Flow, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us. My good friend Mr. Fox is on the other side of the controls. This is the final break of the program. Who's going to be the next caller? Well, maybe it's you. Want to hear from you. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings at candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
The 8:10 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
Spend quality time with your child to show you care about their health, wellness, and success. Celebrate their achievements, forgive their mistakes, listen to them when they have a problem, and show interest in how they plan to solve it. Young people are more likely to listen when their parents are engaged. They know you're on their side. Talk with your child early about making health-conscious decisions for life. For tips, log on to www.ndc.ky. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is Open Line. Got a few minutes left in today's program as we invite you to be a part of our continuing discussion. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can, WhatsApp 925-3261. Now, one listener, messages and asks this question. It is for many, people, the whole idea that when we look at the cost of living, as I paraphrase what this person has written, we probably don't appreciate that so much goes into it. Not just the paycheck, not just the cost of fuel and utilities, whether it's water or electricity or the like. The cost of the petrol, the fuel that we put in our cars. For the employers who have to pay the rents or the mortgage if they own the premises, the salaries and all of the other emoluments that come with it, from the pension to the healthcare costs and all other contributing things as required by legislation. The off days of employees when they're not as productive. And this message is asking, is there a way that we can find a way to reduce what seems to be the ever-increasing cost of living here? And the person quickly added, 1, people should not think that it is just in Cayman that it's expensive. And 2, that when we are ignoring the costs and availability of our foods, are we paying attention to the potential impact, not just the famine that could come? The person writes that this is not intended to cause people to panic, but to start to think and to prepare. And as the government is looking at ways to reopening the economy and growing the population, what are we doing about feeding those numbers that are here? Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Afternoon, Sterling.
Afternoon, my good friend. How are you today?
Yeah, man. No, I just listened to the cost of living and the fuel and whatnot, and obviously, you got my attention.
Well, thank you for listening, man. And more important, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Yeah, man, no problem. Well, I think the person that you were reading out there, text or what it was earlier, is absolutely right. We're not unique to being the only place in the world with high cost of living. But one thing I do know too is that we also uniquely in a position where we could actually do something about it, because we have a situation where we can have complete autonomy when it comes to how our infrastructure, how our distribution grids, and how we consume the things that are compulsory, which is the key driving factors in the cost of living, right? And nobody can argue with the fact that some people may choose to spend their money on other items that are not compulsory, which may cause some sort of financial discomfort when it's time to pay their bills. But one thing I know for sure is that when you are in a situation where you have no alternative in terms of how you consume energy or where you consume energy from, and you have no alternative in terms of how much you pay or where you shop or where you go to buy food. So if the government wants to have a realistic shot at trying to reduce the cost of living, then that's exactly where you start. So we know that there's a fuel factor attached to almost every consumable in the country. So I think that's a great place to start. And we also know that in the fuel industry in our country is heavily unregulated, if regulated at all. So obviously there is some work to be done, and some work that is obviously affecting the cost of living that should have already been done. So you know, I just find it very interesting that I think we have ridden this horse into the sunset to the point where, one, we know what the items are that are driving the cost of living up, and two, have we done anything meaningful to approach this situation? Where, yeah, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, I see the government now, and don't get me wrong, you know, Sterling. I'm not trying to say, okay, one thing is more important than the other, right? But we see where the government has now had one or two meetings because of the beach erosion, right? And they've committed to do something about it. Now, I can tell you right now, the beach erosion is self-inflicted, just as high cost of fuel in our country. But if we can take the measures to have all these extraordinary meetings and move all of these things and prioritize focusing on the beach erosion, then why haven't we not done the same for the cost of living, which is affecting the majority, if not all, of the small people in this country? And I'm not saying that they shouldn't prioritize beach erosion and that they shouldn't be trying to figure out how to fix that problem. Absolutely, I support that. I'm not criticizing them for doing that. I am just simply pointing out, why haven't they done anything similar for the cost of living, which is naturally affecting the small people in this country. And it's unfortunate that people got starved to death because government has put the priority of certain things on their own pace as opposed to the reality of what's happening. So,
as I listen to you, I mean, two immediate things springing on, not tomorrow, but Wednesday following. So next week, Wednesday, we have a discussion scheduled on that same topic, beach erosion, right?
Well, what I will say about that right quick, and I can tell you, Sterling, I don't pretend to be an expert in no marine biology, but I can tell you this: the government can save themselves a whole lot of time and take on the reality of what's transpiring on that corridor, and that is that we have dropped the ball, and we have allowed building too close to the high water mark and to the beach itself. That is the primary cause for beach erosion in the areas in which it's occurring the worst. And if we think that we got it right by giving people permission to put a wall at their boundary or the fixed boundary or the high water mark, that's where we went wrong. The government needs to just take a strong stance. I know there may be some legality issues, but the government needs to say simply, here is the environmental impact of what has currently taken place by the allowance of allowing people to build beach walls. And here is a new policy that we have to put together now, that we would have to remove these walls immediately. Every single seawall along that corridor needs to be removed because the only issue that that is occurring is in the areas where either buildings were built too close to the water, or they put seawalls too close to the water, where there's not a natural constant flow of up and down of the sea washing in and out. And you don't need to be no scientist, you don't need to be anything. You just need to be in Cayman long enough to know that one time ago when there wasn't any seawalls, you never had any issues, right? Also, we have to take in mind the constant global warming changes, the rise in sea levels, the different sorts of weather systems coming from different directions. But one thing I can say is that we know for a fact that seawalls and building too close to the beach is a problem. So I waiting to see what position the government or any of the technocrats going to do that is going to implement something that can remove this existing issue that we have. They're going to move all those seawalls. That's the long and short of it. Let's see how diplomatically they go about it. That's what I'm Have a good one.
Thank you, man. You do the same. I think we can take a couple of more calls. Let's see if we can do that. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Blessed and thankful, man. How about you?
Okay. I guess time is not on my side according to...
No, man, you got all the time that God gives you, man.
Well,
Hope a long life and health.
yeah, but I will not prolong.
Yes, sir.
My little, two little, whatever you want to call them.
You give us your perspective, my friend. I'm listening.
Good. Let's talk about the environment quickly.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, in West Bay, I guess other parts of the island as well, but West Bay mainly is affected so much by the lack of rainfall.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you had a lot of rain in town again today. Here in West Bay.
Mm-hmm. Did it rain in West Bay?
Just a sprinkle.
Sprinkle, huh?
Yeah. This is caused by a lot of the deforestation. Okay? We should be forcing people, actually speaking, to put back more vegetation, not demolishing of a vegetation. We are at least 3 degrees warmer than we should be. Okay? I can prove it. I'm not going all of that time, but it can be proven that we are at least 3 degrees warmer than we should be. What they're doing, allowing people to cut down all your forest land, put up buildings, they call it developers, I call them destroyers. And I don't know what, I'm baffled. For so many years now that I don't see anybody say, look, we are the government. We will tell you how it's going to be. Not you're going to tell us how it's going to be. Regardless about what your legal things is, you have to do things for the benefit of the country, to safeguard the country. When we talk about utility bills and whatever, what you going to expect? People right now, they don't have proper air condition. They don't have proper even water. And what's taking place? Because of these, people come down here and get a monopoly. And then what happened? The poor get poorer and the rich get richer. What I would like to see, in short order, the government stand up and say what's the true position that they're taking. Because if you don't, if you look up and around the Haiti Barcas and up in that area, you have people clearing all of your wetlands, your mangroves and everything. What's happening about this? What's happening about this, guys? It is so disheartening to see what's happening here in this little island. But anyway, I guess I run my mouth enough, but I'm sorry. It's not a pretty picture.
Well, I appreciate you reminding us that they exist. Hey, thanks very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. All right, 1 or 2 to remain. Let's go to this second to last caller. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, Rambo.
Rambo, how are you, man?
The weather beautiful, super and cool, man. Beautiful.
Not true?
Yeah, man, despite you, man. Excellent weather. Sterling, give me 2, Rambo. You know my portfolio we're talking about now.
Yeah, man.
Sterling, obviously, in this era, this transient era, contemporary era, yeah, that obviously our country era, that particular is our coming from, right? In whatever government is henceforth, their repertoire or accomplish or skills, term, right? That's the game now. You know what I mean? Systematically, it's organized method now. In a whole the procedure, stages, see? So starting, you know, in the UK now, right? Even the US, right? Similar to the conservative, right? They have a traditional views and values in the liberal, all right, open-minded, right? Democratic reform. So then the whole point I make today, right? This whole theme that I make this evening, this afternoon, there's the halo effect, right? A positive feeling towards and irrelevant attributes. See? Don't exist where, however, advertising, right? So the hard ticket now, that's like the pedestal. You understand? Like I tell you about 2 months ago, transcend the era, we going beyond. So that's like the pedestal. And I appreciate recently in Parliament, they mentioned of decriminalization. And always say the difference between legalize and decriminalize. Okay, democratize, small portion, right? You're limited.
Mm-hmm.
You're limited. LTD, you're limited. Abbreviation. So, like I say, you come for your walk, and man, now you have tendency of prejudging. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
In places like Oregon, the Democrats, you use that advantage of different nation of underholics it's come from.
Mm-hmm.
But Uruguay, sort of us, same thing. And also, the bunch of big contemporary era, right? We can go back. We can go back. Get that, maintain, education, simple, logical. So, have a good afternoon, then.
You too, man. You too. All right. Appreciate that. Enjoy it. And we'll take the final call. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
How are you today?
Not bad news, sir.
Oh, blessed. Very thankful.
Listen, I'm calling regarding, I don't know, maybe I'll ask you the question first.
Mm-hmm.
Pertaining to the quarantine that we have out there for people, traveling to the Cayman Islands, are we still doing quarantining or no?
There are going to be some changes, I understand, at some point, but I really don't know and haven't been paying much attention to it, honestly. I can find out for you because there are always press releases, talking about what's going on. So.
Yeah, well, they'll check into it first because I overheard yesterday that, and I know for a fact that I overheard someone say that the changes now to the quarantine, to the quarantine is they're giving you're still doing quarantine, but they're not putting the tracking device on you no more. Because they gave you
something like that,
tracking device.
right? Yeah.
But the people are sent home to quarantine. Now I don't understand how you are sending them home to tell them to go home in quarantine when you have no way of tracking those people to see. I mean, this is where, in my opinion, where we're gonna get the outbreak of COVID. If it's such, I'm not saying it's not real because I do believe it, but this is where we're gonna get the serious outbreak of it because the people, I know for a fact, I seen a lady who came on Friday. And she was a supermarket on Saturday.
Well,
so obviously they're not quarantining.
Right.
So I don't know who is monitoring these people and what way, but I think that the government shouldn't lack if you put them to quarantine because they don't even test them at the airport when they're coming in anymore. I had a guy came in 2 weeks ago.
But are we not testing them as they leave? For some places, some destinations?
I don't know. Well, they come in with should be a negative coming in here, but we can see where they're being when they tested when they were doing the quarantine. We seen where people come back positive. So where did they pick it up?
Right. Well, that leads to two questions, right? One, let's say a person ends today and then tomorrow they're out and about on a boat, in a supermarket, or at a ball game, whichever, right? Whether that is safe, advisable or not, that's part of the whole issue. But secondly, I mean, I was listening to someone, and before I do, I'm reminded and I'm very grateful for it. And I honestly, on a personal level, not paying the good attention because I really don't, worry about it too much, right? And the government website is there, it's accessible, and it's always there. But honestly, people can do what they want to do. But for those who want to have it, we can put it out and print it, and then we can go to the government website and get it. But I share with you somewhat in a jovial manner in which it was shared with me. And I won't give you the context other than the person who was taking a job, no pun intended, at some of us. They don't need to put these ankle bracelets on anymore like they do for people on prison release, because the vaccinations have these microchips now, they're tracking you, right? So you can track in a way. Hey, listen, this is a changing world, and I think the more we become civil and responsible, the easier and better that we'll find, what obtains, So it is frustrating for someone.
We must not forget that we remember we had the young lady and the Caymanian child that actually went to jail because they took off their tracking device and left home. So, and the reason why they were they were given a tracking device, or she was given a tracking device as it was because we were monitoring her to make sure that she didn't spread it in case that she should have had it. But if we allow them now to come from places in pretty much the whole world except Cayman now is raging with it, and especially coming from the UK and the US, where England has got the highest rate of it now, and they're coming here and they're roaming and rambling. Well, what do we expect? We don't get if it's that's how it can spread, it will get spread, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so at least having the tracking device, you're pretty much assured that they're staying in. But if they're not staying in, the chances are that they could be spread. The chances are that they could.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. They could spread it. So I mean, at least we had that much assurance, that at least they were giving them the time. I mean, for instance, chickenpox. When chickenpox is spread, you get chickenpox for 7 days, and the next 3 days after you start the 7 days is when you start to shade it off. We don't know if this thing, it might not be the same as chickenpox, but I was just giving you a reference. We know that after 3 days, somebody else can catch it. It don't catch while you got it physically on your body. It's when you start to shade it off that it's catching. So at least, we can be monitored, but we don't know how this one is caught or how it's spread. So we need they need to be monitored more careful.
There certainly is much that we can do as civil society to ensure anything, our very, safe existence and being sensible and civil in our approach. So it is a challenge because we're not able to have a meaningful discussion and ask questions and get answers that we feel.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, Drew, nice talking to you.
Always a pleasure, Mom. Thank you so much too. And perspective is a perspective and opinion is such. 949-8037 is a number to use when you so choose to share your thoughts with us here or on our morning show For the Record. And in closing, I'm always grateful. There's a wonderful lady who, she's just amazing in her leadership position. So quick update from us. The regulations that became effective on the 15th of July. Fridays is the verified time for if you're vaccinated. It's the challenge our 10 days and 14 if it's non-vaccinated. You have the tracking for travelers not eligible for the 5-day quarantine. It is, PCR tests on exit from the house arrest, and when you're pre-arrival, you need to have that PCR testing for all. On arrival, you don't need to take it anymore. Exiting, you have to take the required PCR for everybody, and you have to have the authorized transport, or you can drive yourself. And then everybody who hasn't had the shot yet, if they consider front line and just got to get the PCR. 949, 8037 1-800-534-8255. A call, amazing. Oh, sorry, I said August. I should have said August the 9th instead of July for that. But go on the government website, you'll find the latest information there if you're interested in it. Paul, thank you much for your time, man, and for playing the music. And for those who want to listen and be informed, put the mind at rest. The songs soothe the soul. Until tomorrow, be blessed.